Welcome to the Players Ball Podcast for AT Aliens by AT Aliens. I'm your host, Alex the Great. I'm joined by my brother from another, MB. We're back for another week to talk some sports. It has not been a huge sports week. We have some content for you. Um, but if we stretch, if we go too far adjacent, that's the reason why. But we do have exciting things coming up. We got the MLB trade deadline. What's that, like Monday, Tuesday?
Yeah, the 30th.
Um,
I think it's Tuesday.
the Olympics start this week. They actually started today, um, and that's actually going to be I think that's going to be a really exciting time. We don't have any. Well, there's a lot of Georgians representing, but not from our pro team. So we're just going to give you some Olympic coverage. I like the Olympics. I like watching them. I like high dive. What's your favorite Olympic event to watch?
Man, I don't know if I have a favorite from the summer games. I enjoy quite a few. One that I
Mm,
got to go to live when they were here in Atlanta in 96 or
whoop,
95
whoop.
was beach volleyball. And so I
Mm,
enjoy a little 2-on-2 beach volleyball action. Uh,
yeah, I imagine you do. No, they have great backsides. We'll leave it at that. You gotta be able to jump, man. So the quads built like stallions, man.
it always reminds me of the scene from Top Gun, the first one when they're playing volleyball out on the beach.
Yeah,
But I don't know how much if ever if you've gone out there and tried to play, but it's tough. And
it is.
the court is a lot bigger than you think. So for two people to be covering all that ground, like just the athleticism side of it and the skill, it's got to be up there as one of the tougher sports.
Yeah. Quick twitch movements in the sand are very hard to do. Like to have any type of agility, you really got to be super light on your feet. I played beach volleyball one time. I was actually in Mexico. Yeah, yeah, it's tough. I didn't play very long. Went back. I played beach football. Sprained my ankle out in California. Had to go to the hospital. So me and beach sports don't really get along. I go to the beach to swim and relax. Maybe do some digging. All right, but we do have some things to talk about. So I want to start us. We talk about that G in the back behind you. We talked about them a few times. I had the pleasure of going to Athens. The wife had a work conference that started on Monday, and we got back from Athens today. And one of those days, I instead of taking a lunch, call it, I had some time between meetings, just in case anyone at the job is watching. And I walked down to Sanford Stadium, and that was a whole process in and of itself because the way it brings me up onto it, I'm looking at a construction zone. I'm looking at the guys like, man, and I see the sign, hard hat vest required. I'm like, if I can't go through here, I'm gonna have to walk all the way back around to get to I think it's Sanford Parkway, where there's the bridge and the walk up and the big area. I didn't go through there, but I did cut through the chemistry building. So I wasn't gonna walk all the way around. But then when you walk up on that area where it's open, I sent you that picture, and you can see all the seats. And they had the press boxes up there. They had you could see the lights. Obviously, they weren't lit up, but I've seen videos of the red flashing, like pulsing lights, and I could kind of feel the energy, even though it was empty. I've never been to a Georgia game. When I text you about it, you said that it is electric.
Yeah, man. It's honestly the classic city as a whole is one of my favorite places. I've,
Mm,
I've been a professional for like 15ish years now,
mhm.
and I've from time to time looked to see what kind of extending education I could do to bring
Yeah.
me to Athens, to bring me to Georgia. considered like what it would be like to move there and
Mm,
live in and around Athens. It's a beautiful city, but all that just being on campus, being there for game day is a different experience. Like it's just something that you can't describe. You have to experience for
experience
yourself.
it.
And
Mm,
I haven't looked at the schedule for this coming year. We have a crazy road schedule this year. I don't recall which games we're getting at home, and if any of them are night games. I don't know if it's been announced yet, but if there is a night game that we can get to, we need to get tickets, and you need to experience that Sanford
yeah,
Stadium at night, 100,000 just going wild.
rocking.
Yeah.
Do they walk in from that? I think they said that was like a player's walk. Do they walk in from that area I sent you the picture from?
I'd have to go back and look at it. I believe they enter the stadium game day from from underneath where you were standing. But
Mm, okay.
they do the dog walk, so that, the buses pull up by the student center, and they walk and they march basically into the stadium. There's crowds on both sides, people on the upper deck just cheering. You got band members playing you know classical college theme songs and whatnot, and it's just a cool
Flight of the
experience.
Bumblebee.
Great movie. Great movie.
Yeah, shout out Drumline.
um, but mostly just calling the dogs is the song and the anthem, the battle
Mm,
cry, if you will, and it's just a sight to see. It's a great atmosphere. I haven't been to many, so I can't say what it's like in Tuscaloosa on a Saturday, but I've been
mm.
to Auburn, which is pretty electric atmosphere as well. I haven't been down to Tech. I can't imagine there's much to see down there except for a bunch of nerds, you know, drinking away their sorrows from their failed test scores.
Future
Um,
lobbyists of America, man. They're gonna control us. They control our algorithms. You better watch what you say about those techies.
I've worked with a lot of them over the years, so I have nothing against them. But yeah, go
What about
dogs.
Clemson? Have you been to
No, I haven't. And
Death Valley? Kind of. I mean, I know they use the name, but
yeah, no, I haven't been to Clemson. I've been to South Carolina, the campus. I haven't been there on a game day. I've been to a bunch of SEC title games with different fan bases, and I know
mm,
with a neutral site, it's different.
not quite the same. Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say, South Carolina, Auburn, um, Florida, some of the worst fan bases I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, just my
I
personal
went
take.
to I went to a Seminoles game when I saw FSU back in the day. And that was pretty electric. Like they had, I don't know what they had the Seminole come out on the horse and he spiked his spear. It was pretty dope. And then this past year, I basically the same thing I did at in Athens yesterday. I walked up on the stadium in Clemson, and uh, if I have to rank the two, that Clemson stadium is crazy, man. The house that Dabo built is wild, bro. Like it looked bigger than Sanford. Like it could hold more people, but then they just have so much aesthetic. Uh, the architecture of it I feel like it's a little better.
Yeah, I mean, Sanford Stadium's very classic, Coliseum esque, very
Hmm.
um, gray.
Yeah.
It's just like the
Very gray. Yes.
very concrete jungle-ish, but you look at the field, the sight lines, the hedges, the
I thought the
stadium.
hedges were gonna be taller, right? And I was up pretty high. Maybe they are taller. How tall are the hedges? Like they to me, they look like they're about 3 feet tall.
No, I think they're like 4 or 5, but they just replaced all the hedges. So,
Oh, these fresh hedge.
yeah, so they replace them every so often, and they grow them. I think at the university, like there's a pretty long history of the tradition of the hedges, and it's almost as crazy as Ugga the mascot, where you have like one bloodline that has been feeding the mascot for the last 100 years, kind of thing. Like the hedges are
Yeah.
sacred. They have all this all these processes that they go through and how they keep them. And as one of their NIL collective fundraisers, they were selling. You could buy a hedge in a pot for like
Yeah.
$180. And
So where's yours at? Where is it?
I did not
You
buy
didn't go
any.
for it?
I got a black thumb. I kill everything I try to grow.
Mm,
So I was not going to try and grow the storied hedges in my front yard.
I should have did it. I mean, I'm not. I support the dogs, but I'm not a super fan. Pineapple plants are doing crazy right now.
Hmm.
They're going nuts. Yeah, so I got a greener thumb. All right, man. But that I'm looking forward to football, obviously. And if we can check that schedule, you said you don't know if it's been released yet. I'm down. I want
This
to go to. I definitely got to go to a game now.
the schedule's out. It's just they don't necessarily
The
announce the
times.
times.
Yeah.
And I do know that our home schedule is a bit weaker this year from
Mm.
an opponent standpoint. So we'll see. I think we get Tennessee at home. That's like maybe one of the bigger home games.
Do you not get the full pageantry of it if if it's a not to keep cracking on them, but Appalachian State, right? Do they not do the lights
Oh, you do
and all of that?
the last game I went to, we were playing Samford
Mm.
and beat the snot out of them, and it was great. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I'll take a beat down
yeah, no, and to
because I'm
be able,
sure the crowd is still ruckus.
yeah, and to be able to go, into downtown and hang out in the afternoon, and then head into the stadium for the night game, like just the whole process, the whole experience is just great.
So there are a couple of routes that I could have took to walk to the stadium from where because we were staying in downtown Athens, and I was just imagining while I was walking, like seas of people walking with me because I mean I'm sure a lot of people stay in downtown Athens or at least park there and then drive down because the closer you got, all the parking lots started to say members only, all right, boosters only. So you really couldn't do anything with that. It's a beautiful campus though, man. I got into Georgia. I had so many not so many regrets, but I if I could have did it over, I probably would have went to a different school.
Yeah, I
Shout
mean,
out Georgia State, right? I had a great time there. I learned a lot. Um, and being a city dweller, I learned a lot more about being a city slicker from Georgia State than I would have in a more traditional campus. But I think that experience is invaluable. Just kind of staying on a closed knit. I was in the city. Georgia State is a close knit group of buildings in the city of Atlanta, but you're in the heart of it. There's always something to do that's not related to campus. Whereas, there's downtown Athens, but the campus of UGA was, it's a lot of hills too, man.
it's very hilly.
I put up like 8,000 steps. I was sweating like a big dog. I had a shower when I got back.
I saw a video. We can close out the Georgia talk, but I saw a hype video or a motivational video, if you will, that the Georgia football team posted today, and it was talking about what separates the winners and the losers. It says that everybody works out, everyone does squats, everybody runs, but it's the mindset that will set us apart. At
Hmm.
least that's what the narrator is talking about. But it's them doing their runs and like running stadiums and running down that bridge. And I was thinking about it because they talk about doing team runs around campus. That would be a hell of a place to run.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. Yeah, yeah. That puts some beastly legs on you for sure. Because it's constant, and they're steep hills, right?
yeah,
Yeah, getting up to the stadium, man. I walked up quite a few hills, and you don't really notice the downhills as much since you just walked up this giant hill, and it's hot. Felt like the whole walk was uphill. A lot of it was back uphill, back towards downtown Athens, man. But yeah, no, we're gonna get out there for a night game. I'm excited about that. All right, go dogs.
Whew, sick 'em.
Uh, sick 'em. I saw that everywhere. WNBA. We don't talk about that a lot, but we had some representation in the All Star weekend. So that was this past weekend. Um, Atlanta Dream member Alicia Gray made history in the WNBA All Star weekend. She won both the skills competition and the 3-point competition. So shout out to her, man. Dream representative doing her thing. Love
That
to see it.
may be the only thing the Dream wins this year because
Yeah,
man, they are bad on the court.
they are. And Ryan Howard, she's gonna be in the 3-on-3 in the Olympics. I think she might have gotten hurt though,
Mm,
so
bad break.
won't be seeing her represented.
Now, I did find it pretty fascinating. We talked about it a little bit last week, but we've talked about Caitlin pretty extensively over the series of the pod, and I didn't realize until I went back and looked at it, but the WNBA in Olympic years, since the timing of everything, they don't do like an East versus West All Star. They
Hmm.
do the WNBA All Stars versus Team USA. The Team USA that's going to be representing at the Olympics. And the WNBA All Stars took the W. Um, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and company went in there, balled, and stuck it to those USA women's basketball representatives. What do you think about
I thought you were gonna say old broads.
it? They're not as old as the men who.
I mean, Diana Taurasi is.
uh,
She's on the USA team.
yeah, I mean, you had Diana, you've got Brittany Griner, you got Ionescu. I don't,
Brianna Stewart.
yeah, some of them aren't as old as say
Like Asia Wilson's not old.
Diana
Um,
Taurasi or
yeah,
I mean Brittany Griner's getting up there now.
she's younger than us. I guess that's not saying anything now as far as professional sports are concerned.
Right. I mean, she's had a pretty long professional
Yeah.
careers. Um, but yeah, man, what do you think about the young bucks sticking it to the old ladies?
thought it was good, man, because we have talked about Caitlin Clark ad nauseum, but she is doing things for the WNBA that just have not been done. Right, viewership is way up. They actually just got a media rights deal for like $2 billion or $1.2 billion or something like that. Now, it's not solely because of her, but when you have a draw like that, you would want to put them on the world stage. For her not to be on the world stage is kind of wild, but it was, let's call it poetic justice that her and Angel Reese were able to team up and get the win. I mean, I know Arike Agumbawale did a lot of the scoring. I think she scored like 30 points in the second half or something crazy like that. But for the three of them, it was really Agumbawale. But for them to beat the team that we're sending overseas, kind of feels like I mean they got to win the gold. They said the U.S. women's have been the most dominant, one of the most dominant teams in Olympic history. I think they won the last like 5 or 6 golds. They haven't lost a game in like 40 plus games.
Wow.
They were playing. I saw all this. They were playing Germany in a their final exhibition today, so I had that on while I was working. Um, if they lose, that, what happens, right? Like, does the I don't know who the basketball czar for the women, but are they fired? I feel like they gotta be fired if they lost to the All Star team and then they go to the Olympics and lose. Some
Yeah,
nice jobs gotta be on the line.
it's not a good look for sure if you don't come home with the gold after all that's been said, in the media, specifically just about leaving the likes of Caitlin Clark off the roster and uh,
Hmm.
just, you know, I think it's a similar issue that the men have where it's just a level of favoritism that doesn't necessarily represent the the
Best of the
best of the
best.
best. It's
Mm.
politics, right? It's back in our day, making the all-star team for baseball was, whose ever dad was the coach and the friends of the sons, right? Um it's very boys clubbish or, girls clubbish, and they want to shut out the young guys or gals because they're, jealous. They're trying to cling on and hold on to something that really they should be passing the torch for.
Yeah.
Um, the men almost lost to South Sudan. I'm sure you saw that story. There are
And
some
saved by who?
your boy.
LBJ. And I feel like he is becoming more and more my boy every time that I talk to you, right? Because we are so juxtaposed on LeBron James at this current point, right? But two back-to-back games, Bron had to take it over and save him. I don't know that that's the greatest look. It looks good for him though.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to LeBron for saving face. Um, there are some wild memes out there. Videos of the quote unquote South Sudan players training. Have you seen any of those?
I have not. I'm sure they are quite controversial. Was it like sticks? The water,
uh,
buckets of water?
pretty close. I saw one. It was like this dude in the jungle. He had like I don't even know what it was made out of, but essentially like a workout bands that he was standing on, just jumping with buckets of water or buckets of something. There was a one of a guy shooting. It was pouring down rain, and they had like this makeshift goal that it looked like it had this giant
Like the
bamboo,
milk carton
but
on a tree?
pretty much with a giant bamboo stick as a ball return. Yeah, it is pretty outlandish, but
I mean, the expectation is for the U.S. to win gold. Anything less is a failure. But there are some pretty good teams. Um,
the men's
Like the
game.
Germany team is pretty good. The NBA has done a great job. That's been their goal for many years, expanding globally. They've done a great job with that because there's some hoopers around the world now.
Yeah, I mean the men's game is a lot more. It's a lot closer competition, I think, than the women's because
Yeah,
of the global game, like you said, and a lot of players that are born and raised in, the states that grew up playing ball here that have citizenship in other countries because of parents and other things that go play for, their native country, but they grew up, playing the game here.
Yeah, this year is one of the first times I've heard it be flipped, right? That Joel Embiid, I think he's from Cameroon, and he's played for them in the last Olympics. But this year he's playing for USA because he like recently got his citizenship and his son was born here, so he wanted to represent. So I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, that's cool. They say he's doing terrible though, like
Yeah,
really laboring out there.
yeah. And with his injury history, man, he probably should just took the summer off. But maybe he needs to be around LeBron, man. Get that diet right. Get on that TB12 LeBron style, LBJ 13. He one up Tom Brady.
Since since we proved last week that Michael Jordan did in fact not play into his 50s.
He did not.
Will LeBron?
He might.
You think he's got what, 10
Nah,
years?
50 is crazy. That's
45?
why I knew. Maybe 45. Depends on what the younger son is doing. You know, if he ends up to be more of a prospect, a better prospect than Bronny, maybe he sticks around and gets to play with both of them.
I saw an argument, and before we dive too much deeper into this conversation, I'll leave it at this. Um, I forget who the announcer or commentator was, but he was saying how the proof that LeBron James is the best player of all time is the fact that uh, he was able to get Bronny James drafted.
Yep.
Like that's all you need to know if they want you so bad that they're willing to give your son a contract.
Because Marcus Jordan and Jeffrey Jordan played college ball. Neither one of them made it to the league, though. That could also been Mike. Like, nah, y'all never be me. You you're not coming here. Go do
Yeah,
something else.
I definitely think the day and age has a lot to do with it, right? The level
Yeah,
of competition. But I mean, you can't deny, you know, Bronny really didn't do anything special at all
in college.
at
Yeah,
USC. He had a heart medical scare, right?
yeah,
Like
that held him out for a lot of the season.
so the fact that he went through all that and was still able to find himself drafted is pretty wild.
Yeah, I was telling Brittany was like, so why are all these people coming at Brian for getting his son on the team? And she was like, it's us, it's black people that are mad at him for getting his son on the team. I was like, nepotism is real. A lot of people don't like it, but if I can use that's what you're supposed to do as a parent. Use your power and your influence to put your child in the best position to succeed.
Yeah, I think there are limits on that though to a degree, right? Like you want your children to be able to hold their own and stand on their own 2 feet
Yeah.
without
You wanted them
you
to be
or
qualified for the position that you put them in. You want to train them up for it, right? But
just
you
have
don't know who
just
Bronny's
the
gonna be.
mental and physical ability, like mental fortitude to be able to just
Hmm.
withstand whatever's going to come your way, regardless of profession, right? Like you want your children to be able to hold their own without you, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be here forever for them, and you want to know that they're going to be okay. You want to know that you've raised them and set them up in a way that they're going to be okay without you, and
Yeah.
not require you to be able to achieve anything, right? Like there is a level where
I can see that
nepotism,
side of it for sure.
yeah, like I work in a family owned company, so nepotism all over the place,
Left and
right?
right.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with it, right? But there is
Unless,
there
yeah,
is a point where there needs to be at least some merit to what you achieve.
1000%. I agree. Right. There's you remember that Kanye skit? Say now you work for the secretary's
Secretary.
secretary.
who
And
never
she's
went to
the boss's
college.
niece. Yeah, she never went to college. She's the boss's niece. So now you're basically part of the family.
What a great album.
Yeah, yep. That was a classic. That is a classic. Now we dragged there, man. I guess I was doing that because I didn't want to get into the sadder news, man, of the Braves. But we got to talk about it. We are snake bit, man, as a team. Ozzy Albies, who was one of Marcelo Zuna is the motor that's making the car go, but I think Ozzy Albies was definitely at least a steering wheel. Very important component to the car moving forward in the direction he wanted to go, and they say he broke his wrist. I saw the play. It looked like it flopped back a little bit, but man,
Yeah, he
that
had
sounds
a
terrible.
fracture. He's going to be out essentially 2 months. And I think that's the
Hmm.
healing process. So who knows how long he'll actually be out because he'll have to rehab.
Rehab.
But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty ugly situation. Max Fried is also on the injured list.
Yep.
Um, forearm injury. There's no timetable to when he's going to return. Michael Harris is still out, right? How long has it
Yep.
been now? Like, it's been a while. It's been over a month at least. Um, we lost uh, Austin Riley, but this one at least is temporary. He's on the paternity list. He's
Yeah.
welcomed a new youngin to his family. Now they're
Shout out to him, Dad Life.
Riley party of four. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, so they're missing a lot of key components. It's funny. Well, I say it's funny. It's actually really sad. We signed Whit Merrifield, former All Star, was an All Star last year, right? Veteran, was supposed to give us some depth. We sign him. He shows up to the ballpark for his first game, and in warmups, he injures himself, injures
That's
his
not real.
hand. No, it's 100% real.
Sheesh. I saw we signed him. I did not know that he was already hurt.
Yeah, he hurt himself the day he got here.
That is
Think
bananas,
it's
man.
a hand or finger injury. So I don't know. I haven't looked at what the details, what the timeline is on that, but man, the team they rolled out today was a shell of what this team is really, what the what the core makeup is of this team, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Nacho Alvarez, making his
I was gonna mention that. Yeah, he got
big
called up.
plug.
We had talked about Nacho last week.
Yeah, and I'm happy for him, but like Buddy has played second base, now he's playing third base. He's a shortstop. He
Yeah,
he hasn't played anything other than shortstop since high school.
yeah.
So I mean, we're just plugging in pieces wherever we can. He got a little unlucky, Nacho, in his first game. He went 0 for 4. He had a couple really good hits that they just made good defensive plays, and he didn't get on base. But he got his first hit today, so
Hey,
congratulations. That's
notching the belt.
a big milestone, right? And hopefully there's many more to come from. But he has been no boost to the offense. The other players, short that played today, Duval's still struggling, hitting under 200. I mean, it's rough out there, man.
My boy Eddie's looking. He's looking like he's improving a little bit.
Yeah, Eddie had some good at bats, but they haven't
We need
translated.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they haven't translated into runs, and unfortunately, the pitching seems to be falling apart. Um, Chris Sale was supposed
Who
to
went
make
tonight, Chriselle?
No, Chris was supposed to make the start last night, but the game was postponed due to weather. They announced a doubleheader. They played the first of the doubleheader. Alan Winans got the start. There was a lot of rumor that Chris Sale would have gotten the start tonight, but the weather postponed tonight's game, so Chris has not gotten an opportunity to pitch. But Alan Winans did okay. He got he got pretty unlucky today. There were two plays where Ellie De La Cruz is stealing second, where Sean Murphy makes a fantastic throw, and the tag is bang bang. To me, watching the broadcast, it looked like if you were to pause it, you could see definitively that Ellie was out, but we did not challenge, and the umpire that was covering that area was clearly blind today, so he called Ellie safe both times.
Do you get superstar calls in baseball? You think?
Oh, absolutely. So
Because that's where he's headed. My
the
man is a phenom. He's crazy good, dog.
he's almost as cheat code-ish as Shohei Ohtani.
Almost, yeah.
I will say Ellie offensively is an absolute beast, but
Hmm.
defensively he's below average, and it
Where
shows.
does he play?
He plays shortstop.
Shortstop.
He missed a bunch of plays today and 2 nights ago when they played
All I
Cleveland.
ever see, and I guess that makes sense, are his offensive highlights, right? Like, my man has multiple in the park home runs this year. A
Yeah,
lot of that's error, but a lot of that is speed. They say he's on pace to not break the steals record, but get close to it. He'll have more than Ronnie did last year.
oh yeah, he'll break the steals record for sure.
Yeah.
But there was a play today where Marcel is running to second. He had gotten on base.
Mhm.
It was a ball hit to the left side. They throw it over to Ellie, and he doesn't catch the ball at all. And they call Marcel out. They say that Ellie dropped the ball in transferring it to make the double play throw, which is a rule. Like if you catch the ball and you're transferring it to make a double play, they can deem the runner out.
Mhm.
Well, it's not even close. The replay shows that he never had the ball in his glove at all. Period. He just missed it. And so replay overturned it, but this umpire was clearly blind. He got that call wrong that they had to overturn, and he missed the two
The
steals,
out.
and both of those translated into runs.
Mm.
So yeah, poor
So
poor.
he was involved in all three, or just two of the three big mistakes by the umpires.
He was involved in all three of those particular calls.
Yeah.
Which sometimes baseball is just bad luck, right? Making good contact with the ball, but someone being there, or
Hmm.
the wind catching it and causing it to die and it staying in the park. Like there's a lot of aspects of it that luck is involved, and this team is clearly very unlucky this year when it comes to injuries and
Yeah.
everything. They had a players only meeting yesterday in the clubhouse. Didn't seem to do anything because they lost today pretty poorly. We'll
Yeah.
see. I mean, they're 7-3 in their last 10. They've won, I think, one game since the All Star break.
Snit moved Matt Olson out of cleanup.
Finally,
Yeah.
I mean, he got a hit today, but his
He's
his
been awful.
his power numbers are way down. I guess you know hard contact rate is still up there, but he's not hitting the ball out of the park like he was.
Yeah.
So
He's not looking like Freddie this year.
no,
Man, you one thing, man, you mentioned Otani, bro. Um, did you see that the mammoth home run he hit at Dodger Stadium? I think he broke the record at Dodger Stadium.
no, but the dude is absolutely crazy. I will never understand, and maybe it wasn't ever a possibility, right? Like we don't know.
I was getting, yeah,
Otani, may have had zero interest in coming to Atlanta. I think he really wanted to stay on the West Coast. It makes the most sense being from Japan to be
yeah.
in LA, or at least on the West Coast. But if I'm a GM or the owner, president, whatever of this franchise, and I see someone of Shohei's, stature, and I don't roll out the red carpet and do everything in my absolute power to try and get him to play for my team, then I am a failure.
What a That's exactly where I was going, man. Can you imagine if he had a Braves jersey on, dog? It's a disservice to the fans. The decision will always be his, right? But to your point, pull out all the stops, man, and see if you can get that guy to Atlanta. And I didn't hear that that was done. I know at one point it was mentioned that it was like three teams that were in the running, and Atlanta was on that list, but I didn't hear about anything that they did, right?
Yeah, you got to make them say no, right?
Yeah, make him say no. That's the best way to put it.
But we'll see. I mean, there's still a lot of baseball right now as it stands. We're only in the wild card by 2 games. So, it's
We've been slumping, yeah, because we're up. We had a 5 run. I thought we had a 5 run lead on the wild card spot.
I don't know how high it got up to, but we had a pretty sizable lead and it's down to 2. And it doesn't help that teams like the Cardinals are the ones that are just below the mark that are trying to make their way in. So
Yep, they're in right now.
the Reds, the
Padres are
Cardinals.
tied with them. Pittsburgh and Arizona are only 1 game out. You had made a point earlier in the year about how less teams were going to throw in the towel just because they have better odds to make it. And that is exactly where we have arrived. So kudos to you, Mastradamus. Um, there's a lot of teams that are still in it.
Yeah, mathematically, I don't think there's very many that are eliminated. Actually, I don't think anyone's technically mathematically eliminated. But the Rockies, they're not going to get there.
The Marlins,
The
they're out.
Marlins are not going to get
There
there.
were more in the AL from what they were saying. Oh yeah,
Uh,
the White Sox are the worst team in baseball.
the A's are surprisingly not the worst team in baseball, and it's like not even close. But they're still really bad. The margin
Yeah, they are
between the
bad.
Sox and the A's is strikingly large. It's like a 10 game difference.
Yeah, it is 10 games.
Yeah,
37 wins to 27 wins.
yeah. So kudos to the A's for taking
Not
that
being the worst.
adversity and not being in the dumpster. But
They have to be good eventually, right? They've gotten so many players from us. We feels like we always win those trades,
I don't know.
but they're
AA,
getting. They have to have good prospects, right?
yeah, I mean AA has done some pretty pretty good um theft jobs over there.
What they say in that Coach 30, they're accusing you of nasty work. They got AA down here doing some nasty work on the trades, bro.
Yeah, so he needs to work his magic so that we can close the season out strong, right? Like, I had a conversation with my mom earlier today, and she was like, "Is it time for us to just start looking to next year and start rebuilding for next year? Not rebuilding the franchise, but like putting together a
Mhm.
plan for next year, right?" And I was like, "Right now, if the season ended today, we would be in the playoffs, and if anything has been shown in the past couple years, you don't have to win your division. More often than not, winning your division does not give you any kind of advantage. The
Yep.
teams that win the World Series have been teams that have just made it into the playoffs and gotten hot, wild card teams. So you can't throw in the towel, right? Like you have to
Yeah.
put all the chips in and go all in and go for broke because it's now or never, you know?
October can be a magical time, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm with you though. I'm definitely not throwing it in. I don't know what kind of moves I make. I mean, I may stand pat, man.
I can't stand Pat, man. There's too many holes and no.
But there
Uh,
are holes for injured players you have under contract, though, right?
yeah,
Michael
but
Harris, Ozzy Albies, Ronald Acuna.
well, Ronald's not coming back this year.
No, he's not.
Ronnie's not coming back. Acuna or not Acuna. Ozzy is 2 months. That puts us in September, the end of September, right? So
Right.
who knows what he's gonna look like when we get to October, if he's even ready. You got Michael Harris, who's been out for a long time with that stage 2 or, the more severe hamstring strain. Hopefully, you get him back in a month, but you just don't know if that's not going to get re-aggravated later in the year. Like you got to build some depth. You cannot just roll out what you got.
But who do you build it with, right? Because I've seen that a lot of people think that Jazz Chisholm is going to be moved.
I
Do
would
you want to get a
love,
long term outfielder, knowing that you pretty set at the position
I would
when everyone's healthy?
love to get Jazz Chisholm. If you have an
Yeah.
opportunity to get Jazz, you bring him here. He wants to be here. He loves Atlanta. He loves
Mm.
Ronnie. I mean, what's your long term plan look like? Because Jazz doesn't have to just play outfield, I don't think. You have, you know, I don't think Arcia is the answer long term at shortstop. You know, I
He was an all star last year.
I know.
You
And
throwing it in like Matt
defensively,
Olson? You throwing it in on him?
no, I'm not. And look, Arcia is a formidable defensive player, but last year was an anomaly to his career. And he is young. He could still, turn that around, but I just personally I want the depth. I want the proven talent. If I have an opportunity to get Jazz, I'm bringing Jazz here. Point blank.
Are you giving up youth to get him?
It depends on what you, right? Like that's always you're going to have to give up some youth. The question is who?
How would you trade Michael Harris for Jazz?
No.
Hmm.
Nacho? Maybe.
If they're not doing that, are they? No, I
I don't
wouldn't think
know.
that they are.
I don't know because we don't know how they value the rest of the pieces they have, you know. But I will say in some more uplifting news, training camp has begun for the
Woo,
Falcons. Is almost
rise
here.
up! I'm excited, man.
I am too. So a bunch of photos came out. They did the annual first day of school. Chalkboards and photos of all the newcomers. One in particular, Kirko Chains. He showed up wearing a throwback Hawks jersey.
Yeah,
So we had a discussion earlier offline about our thoughts on some of the jerseys and logos of our clubs. You, in particular, love that jersey that he was wearing. It's the old
yeah.
school. Got the hawk across the chest, holding the
Hmm.
basketball, red and black, and it's to me one of the uglier Hawks jerseys. I personally like the red, white, and yellow Neek era where it's got the big Hawks banner on white across the chest.
Hmm.
Uh, so we were just trying to kick around this idea of we want to hear from you. Like, what are some of your favorite logos or jerseys for our sports teams? I don't think you can go wrong with the classic Braves, right? Like that jersey, that logo, like it hasn't changed in
The little A? Or are you talking about the big A?
the big A, the Atlanta with the tomahawk underneath, like the classic
Hmm.
gray and blue. That design is just like iconic. It's almost like the red and silver breeches for Georgia. Like
Mm,
it's just something that has only had minuscule changes throughout the years. Like Georgia, they've changed the lettering and the number styles from like block to more modern, but beyond that, like the style has pretty much stayed consistent to the tradition. And like you can't go wrong, in my opinion, with those traditional um, jerseys. But some of the newer ones, um, I like. I like the new Falcons jerseys. I think they're pretty nice. I
yeah.
do, if I had to rank them, I would choose the old black with the old Falcon. The throwbacks that they wear from time to time, at least one time a
Hmm.
season. But I like it with the new alternate red helmet with the black and gold stripe. Like I
That's
like
my
that
favorite.
combination better than the traditional black helmet with the falcon on the side.
Yeah, that black falcon on that red hat, man. That's one of my favorite looks. Um, did I thought you might have heard my air conditioner just kicked on. What'd you look up at?
No, I was looking. I have one. I have a mini helmet. I was looking to see where it
Oh,
was
okay,
at.
yeah.
I was trying to see if it was within reaching distance so I could grab it and show it.
So there was it was a while ago, a couple weeks. One of the radio hosts was talking about, or maybe it was a guest that they had on, the origin of it was Rob Tribble, the origin of that helmet and how it was designed with other local teams' colors, right? So they brought in I'm gonna get it all wrong, but like silver from the Braves and red from Georgia and black for Georgia Tech. I had to look it up and see where it all came from, but the story was well, that was my first time hearing it, and I was like, oh man, that's dope. And when he was explaining it, it made a whole lot of sense. I had to find that, and we'll post a
Yeah,
link to
so
it.
the gold is
The gold is
is
Georgia
the
Tech, right?
Georgia Tech tie-in, and they did it because they were afraid they were going to alienate, the techies over there, um, because there's a lot of red and black, as there should
Yeah,
be.
classic red helmet. Yeah, designed to represent rival schools, Georgia Tech and Georgia.
Yep. But yeah,
Nah, but
that's
I like that. So what so you don't like the old school Hawk for those who are listening, that we're talking about the Dikembe Mutombo Steve Smith era. So late 90s would have been that one, but I do love that jersey. Um Jersey I don't like that green and blue Pistol Pete Hawks
oh,
jersey.
I
I think that
love
thing
that
is
one.
that's an atrocious jersey, bro. It's terrible.
Specifically the blue one, where the base
Yeah.
color is blue with the green
Hmm.
accents. That's a stylish jersey.
Man, leave that in Minnesota, man. Blue, green. I don't want no parts of that. Um, the Braves, for me, it's hit or miss. The little A.
You like
Sometimes I
the
like
City
it, other
Connect?
times I don't. Which one is that? Is
It
that
says
is that the
the
little A?
A. It says the A on it, but it's got the tomahawk on the sleeve. It's made to look
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah. No, I do like that. It's like the little A, but it's the A.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 no, I've seen that one. I do like that one. The City Connect jersey.
So it's funny. My mom, she's a huge Braves fan, right? She raised me on the Braves, and she can't stand those little A jerseys. I think it's just
Guess you not.
no. She hates them. I like them. But I'm not a huge fan of the baby blue. You know, where
Yeah.
the base is baby blue with the navy. I prefer the white. The ones that the city connects are styled after the white with the the feather on the sleeve.
Hmm.
But you can't go wrong with the classic. Atlanta or the Braves with the tomahawk underneath in the script.
Yeah, the Pac-Man Hawks jersey is pretty dope. I think that's one of my favorites.
But you told me today you didn't like the new Hawks logo.
The new Hawks logo.
Yeah, the new hawk, like the Pac-Man hawk. Or did I misunderstand what you were saying?
Yeah, no, I think you misunderstood me. I like that one a lot. I think it looks better than the old Pac-Man, but the old Pac-Man is the jersey that has that's like your favorite.
Yeah,
Or you're saying your favorite is the new rendition of the old jersey with the red and yellow with the new Pac-Man on it.
I like the classic neat. I like the new one too, but I like the classic Dominique era Spud Webb uh, Pac-Man logo jersey.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that jersey. I have it doesn't actually have a pack on it, but it's that colorway. That's my Trey Young jersey, is that color.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm not a
Is
huge
there is there another jersey that you don't like?
I'm not a huge fan of the new like the Peachtree jerseys that they've been rolling out,
Mm.
like the peach color Atlanta on the black. Like there's
Oh, I
just
I do think I like that one.
they're just so they're plain. I mean, they're not bad. They're just there's nothing special about them.
How you feel about the MLK jersey? Careful, careful.
I was trying to picture it. You know, it's all right.
It's
Like
essentially the Peachtree jersey with MLK instead of Peachtree.
I said, there's nothing special about them. That's the only thing. Like they just don't stand out
Yeah, MLK is not a special figure to MB.
to
You heard it here
me.
first.
Don't put words in my mouth. No, I think it's
I'm just
awesome that
playing.
we get to play in that game every year. Like that's one of those Atlanta traditions that I think is special to the city, and the organization always does a really good job of like doing the pre games and all the the entertainment and promotion for that game, giving
Hmm.
MLK his flowers and his respect, and giving him his honor. I think it's really cool that Atlanta gets that privilege.
I didn't go this year. I went the last 2 years, and it is pretty dope. Like they always do something special at halftime to honor them. Usually, you might get a little small concert at the end of the game. It's during the day. It's always like a daytime game, so you can leave there and actually have time to do something else with your day, which I actually like. Um, but it is pretty dope. I mean, they have some solid pageantry on in that game. Yeah, man. So yeah, we want to hear from y'all about your favorite or least favorite jerseys in the Atlanta or any franchise. If you had to pick one outside of Atlanta, what is a jersey or a hat that you would rock?
Oh man, put me on the spot.
I'll give you mine. I love the Bengals, like their logo and their colors. That orange and black with that tiger on there. I don't know. It's just something aggressive about it. I really like.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good ones out there. Being that I was born in California, I used to have some LA hats back
Mm,
in the day. I got the privilege of visiting the old Yankee Stadium, and while I was out there, I had a Yankees hat. They're iconic, right? Like those
yeah,
logos are just iconic. I've had Cubs, living out in Chicago, but I don't
I've had a
know.
Royals hat. That's another one that just has not changed really.
Yeah, I don't really know if I would seek out any of those. I think I've mentioned it before, and I've browsed quite a bit. Just the minor league teams.
Yeah, MILB.
I would love to get a couple minor league team hats, just because they're always fun.
Yeah, yeah. We might have shown that the penguin hat,
Oh
the
no, we.
Rome. We didn't show that one.
I
I
don't
love that
think
hat. I've been thinking about buying it.
Yeah, the Rome
Every time we
Emperor.
talk about it, I go look it up. I'm like, don't want to spend $39 or no.
My mom asked me today about what's up with Ian Anderson, and I told her I was like, I don't know where he's at in the farm system, uh, but we figured out he's in Gwinnett. But in that, she was looking up stuff, and she was like, "Who the hell are the Rome Emperors?" Yeah,
They're better than the Stripers, man.
yeah. I mean, I like the Striper logo. I like their jerseys. I played through the Atlanta Braves affiliates in MLB The Show quite a few
Did you really?
times, and the Stripers grew on me.
I'm looking at that. It looks like they have a new one.
The Rome or the Stripers?
Gwinnett. Gwinnett has a new one. It's like it's almost like the stamp, like the G.
Yeah.
But then you got the striper coming through, and it's a baited hook. It's got a baseball on it.
Nice.
It actually looks pretty dope.
Yeah. So, but hopefully we'll have some good news in the near future with our teams. Hopefully the Braves turn it around. We're getting closer and closer to football. We're under 50 days for college. Georgia's kicking it off this year in the Benz against Clemson. That's going to be electric. The college football national title game in 2025. So this season, but it's played January of 2025. It will be in the Benz. So
Hmm.
big events for the city. College football. You know, Falcons training camp is underway. They have a couple. They only have 2 open practices this summer, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Um, but they're going to be preseason games really fast. Can't wait to see what Kirk looks like. Can't wait to see what Michael Penix is looking like. So soon we'll have some really, really good things to talk about, hopefully. And hopefully the Braves, like I said, they'll be in that conversation with heading into October on fire, ready to light up the rest of the league.
In fuego. Yeah, man.
Sign
I'm with
Trevor
you
Bauer.
and everything that you said. Mm. So you said it while I was saying that. I don't think that was quite fair. I mean, sure.
You need to check
If you,
out his
can't
YouTube
hurt.
channel. I think you would change your stance on that man.
I will. I'll look it up. I won't change my. I might. I'm not saying I will change my stance. I'll look at it with an open mind.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been another good ones in the books. Trying to keep it to an hour. So with that, you know, like, subscribe, review, hit that notification bell, and we want to hear from you.
But until then, we'll catch you on the flip. Peace.
Peace.